Hi there, everyone. Just wanted to look at the Canada USA game from last night, the semifinals in the World Juniors. Just watching the game, there was, I believe, 4 goals scored for either team, including the one that got called back for Team USA in the third, that were directly off faceoffs. And in a tight game like this, typically in a semifinal, final, in the NHL, goaltending is going to be really good. Um, Defensive structure is going to be really good. So you got to find other ways to score. And then from a defensive perspective, you need to be able to um, know your assignment, know your role off faceoffs, and execute so that you limit those scoring chances when the puck's in your zone off of faceoff. Um, and as you can see here, a semifinal matchup, face off plays determine the first 3 out of 4 goals for either team. The Americans score first off face-off play, which I'll show you here, and the Canadians score two to tie it up off face-off plays, off the same face-off play, which is probably a little bit frustrating for the U.S. coaching staff, I can imagine, and for the players. But I'll kind of show you what I saw here from the game and from these face-off plays. So this is the American goal. You'll see here, puck gets to the point. At first glance, it looks a little bit fluky, but essentially, it's a good play from the U.S. They know what they're doing. They get the puck to the point. So I'll show you here just a little bit what they're trying to do. Because at this level, every face-off has a play for both the offensive team and the defensive team. So the U.S. what they're going to do here is they're going to switch up top their forwards. So the inside forward and the outside forward are going to switch. Okay. Try and create a little confusion for the D in their assignments. So Cooley ends up winning the faceoff to 18, which he does a good job stepping inside, which avoids this, which helps create a little diversion for Joshua Waugh, who played a great game, but he doesn't quite get out there nearly as quick as he needs to. And the inside winger gets in his lane as well just by coming across. So it takes him a little longer to get there. So you see they switch. So the defenseman decides to shoot, but the other portion of this play is 18 will come to the wall. If he drags it far enough, he can go, and then 18 can attack the net with traffic and numbers going towards the net. The puck obviously gets shot, rebound, goal, right? So it might seem like there's not much you can do, and really from a Canadian perspective, there's kind of limited that you could do. Obviously, trying to identify the puck, but it's the game of hockey. Things are going to happen each way, but it's more off the execution of the Americans of what they wanted to do, as opposed to the Canadians not necessarily having a plan. They had a plan, it just didn't. It kind of didn't bounce their way, but the Americans know what they're doing. They're switching the wingers up top, which allowed for that shot and created a little confusion, um, and ultimately gets them up 1-0. So that's the first goal that puts them up. The next one here is Canada to get back in the game. So uh, all right, so let's get started with the first period. So what we have here is a D down the wall play for Canada, and they actually scored twice on this goal, both goals off the same play. So 13 in blue does a really good job getting out to the defenseman. And to be honest, the Americans do a good job of trying to neutralize this play, but it's really a high skill play from Del Mastro, the defenseman, and obviously the best player in the tournament and best player for Team Canada, Connor Bedard. Uh, so the D down the wall, Bedard gets the middle and ends up scoring, and that's just really like you're gonna see here on the highlight. The puck just hits a narrow window. Bedard makes a good touch on it. The Americans kind of get there. The defenseman could have taken the stick, but again, it's just high level, high skill play. But what we talked about in the earlier clip Team USA had a plan, they executed it, and that's how they scored. I would say the same thing here for Canada. When you have a well timed, well perfected um, face-off play, uh, it's really hard to defend because there's so many different moving parts, and the play isn't it's just it can go any which way. So um, I think this play is a great example of that. Obviously, Bedard to get to the net, Del Mastro to make the pass, and it puts Canada back in the game. The thing that might be frustrating for Team USA, or it would be for me if I was a coach, is that now they've had time to go into the second period, and it's early in the second period. The Canada is now two up or down 2-1, and they run the same play here, and they actually score on it as well. So there's a couple little details. Obviously, Stankoven wins the draw, which is huge, right? Winning faceoffs and winning them clean is a really big factor here on these two goals. But they're going to do the same thing. D down the wall. Now Bedard and the two wingers here for Canada do a good job of getting in the lane. Like Bedard kind of comes in, so it forces 17 in blue to go cut inside. And then because the outside winger for Canada comes around the top, he kind of gets in the way and almost sets as a pick. So if he's just kind of standing there, it doesn't go in this lane. 17 is probably going to get to, I think that's Brant Clark. Uh, but instead, just by him coming up the wall or kind of coming up around the top of the circle there, it creates a little diversion for 17. He can't quite get out there, as you can see right there. So he has to go around him. So then the defenseman, we go D down the wall again, and this time they don't really sort it out. So he has a free lane to the net with numbers attacking. Um, Takes a shot, and then rebound, goal, tie game. So those are two goals essentially that put Canada back in the game and are probably the TSN turning points for Team Canada. Um, Based off face-offs. And so the reason why I pointed those out is just because it's so important to practice your face-offs, whether you're in the offensive zone or defensive zone. Know what everybody's assignment is and know what everybody's role is. And then if you were Team USA, I think after seeing the first D down the wall, it might be a point of emphasis going into the next game or the next period, sorry, to come up with some sort of plan as to how to defend that. Possibly putting the winger, the defensive side winger on the wall so he can get out to the point easier, or just that's something that I might consider. It's a little more unconventional, but just to try and avoid that defenseman coming down the wall and walking in all alone. So yeah, just kind of the importance of face-offs. And again, in game, in the prelims, you might not notice as much, but when games get tighter, goaltending gets better, it just becomes more difficult to score. The focus and detail on the defensive and offensive side and execution of face-offs is really vital for success and winning when the games get tighter. So hope you enjoyed the video and maybe saw something a little bit different than when you were originally watching the game. So thanks a lot.